So in yesterday's video, we talked about how the Cleveland Indians are changing their name, but one thing I forgot to mention is that this won't be happening until 2022. A lot of people were trolling me saying, ha, Fuzz, Francisco Lindor is not going to be on the 2021 Spiders. I don't really care about the nickname of the team. I just want to have a good squad that we can win championships. That's my number one priority, but aside from that, we have so much to talk about today. We have breaking news. The MLB season might get delayed. The Royals and the Red Sox are making some pretty big pickups in free agency, and then also DJ LeMahieu. A lot of people are rating him as the number one free agent for this offseason above JT Realmuto and Trevor Bauer. The Yankees and DJ are so far apart right now that LeMahieu might walk to a different team. I don't know where else he could go. So just so much to break down. Buckle in because it is going to be a bumpy ride. So we talked about how in 2022, the Indians will be changing their names officially. So for the foreseeable future, it is going to be the Cleveland Indians. I know that's going to upset a lot of people. They just have no money to rebrand. So that's exactly why. Once they get some income from fans being in the stadium and revenue generated within the season, they'll be able to get it done. Now, breaking news. This is coming from a Twitter account, MLB Trade Rumors. This is my go-to if I need to find any transactions that has happened. Maybe they're not the biggest transactions, but they document almost every single thing that happens within the economics of Major League Baseball, and they're reporting that an American League executive who wanted to stay anonymous said that there is a 0% chance we start on time and that the season is going to get delayed into May. Now, May is not a huge deal. That is just a 1-month delay. The only problem is that a lot of people are saying, how come the NBA can have a full championship season where LeBron is the victor, there are 0 COVID cases, they have a break, and now they're already playing? LaMelo Ball is playing right now, and all of the other NBA teams are scrimmaging basically. So they're trying to think, why can't the MLB just do that? And it is very confusing. Major League Baseball is behind the 8 ball at almost every single turn. I think that they should hire young people like me or Giraffe Nick Mark or John Boy. We could really right the ship because they do a lot of things wrong, but the safety of the players, that is the number one priority. And if that's the biggest issue at hand, I can fully understand. Just for me, it's a little bit confusing because of what the NBA is doing. But yes, the breaking story is that the season might get delayed, but that's not even the biggest issue. If you want to see a video about how a player strike, a civil war is on the way, leave a like and we'll come out with that video pretty soon because, yeah, this is a small issue compared to what could actually happen with a player strike. Now, talking about free agents, we'll go ahead and bring up DJ LeMahieu in just a second because we actually have solidified deals that are happening right before our eyes. Greg Holland is returning back to Kansas City after saving his career. He was one of the best closers in baseball once upon a time back in the day with the Royals. He went to the Rockies and kind of imploded. In 2018, he almost had an 8 ERA. In 2019, he had a 4.5 ERA, and then he bounced back. Good for him in 2020. A 1.19 ERA to go along with a 2.52 FIP. That is amazing. Now, granted, it was in just 28 innings, but for the most part, he was back to being the Greg Holland of past. So when you have Holland, you have Josh DeMont and Scott Barlow. The Royals are going to have a very good bullpen. They've added Mike Minor. They've added Carlos Santana. The Royals are sneakily becoming a better and better team as the days progress. Now, I don't think that they're going to be a 90 and 60 team once the season actually resumes, but I think that they are going to be better. And also, we might not even play 162 games if the season gets delayed. So keep that in mind. All of these signings, they're getting a lot of money, but who knows? It might be prorated. So it could be actually more beneficial to the team if the season is shortened. Speaking of signings, the Red Sox signed Hunter Renfroe to a 1-year deal. He is one of the most confusing players in all of baseball because his ceiling is up there. He could be an elite player, but he is just not consistent. And if you look at him real hard, if you squint, he looks like a Walmart Mike Trout. So from 2017 to 2019, he averaged 28 home runs, 22 doubles, and a 777 OPS. That is pretty good and very serviceable over the course of 3 separate seasons. He was terrible in 2020, but the one thing remained is that his defense is still above average. So when you put him in right field for the Boston Red Sox, you can move Alex Verdugo to center field. Andrew Benintendi is probably the worst left fielder in all of baseball. I don't know why they call him Benny Biceps because he doesn't really have much pop in his bat and he has a noodle arm. He's pretty much Johnny Damon, just without the speed. entirely envision Benny Biceps getting much more opportunities unless he is really able to turn around his career. He has been a bust for all intensive purposes, so maybe they have a platoon with Benintendi and Renfroe, because Renfroe smashes lefties, not so much right-handed hitters, so that might be something that we see going forward, especially considering the Red Sox, they have a hole in center field that they have to field. It could be George Springer, it could be Jake Marisnick, it could be bringing back Jackie Bradley Jr., so keep in mind, the Red Sox, they are not done just yet. They're trying to add more pieces, so watch out. Now what we'll do is talk about the Red Sox rival. It's not even really a rivalry anymore, which makes me sad, because the Yankees Red Sox Saturday Night Baseball on ESPN, that was my favorite thing to watch when I was a kid. The ESPN music, Baseball Tonight, I miss those days, but unfortunately the Red Sox aren't very good as of late, so the rivalry is kind of like, we're waiting for them to be better. Now the Yankees might have an issue trying to keep up with the Red Sox. Like, if the Red Sox come back and they're healthy, they will be able to compete with the Yankees. Do not count them out, and especially if the Yankees do not have their MVP caliber player, DJ LeMahieu. It is being reported that the Yankees want 3 years worth $54 million, whereas DJ wants 5 years worth $100 million. So about $25 million separates DJ LeMahieu and the Yankees from signing. Now, the math is a little bit weird, but of course, the article says $25 million, so I'm not sure how it exactly works out, but I trust them. What I would do is I would split the difference. I would go 4 years, $90 million. At that point, both sides win. DJ's getting his money. The Yankees are getting their star second baseman, DH, first baseman, wherever he needs to play. He can pretty much play any position in the infield aside from shortstop. He's a 3-time Gold Glover, a 2-time batting champion, and he's even won a batting title outside of Coors Field. Everyone said that he was going to be a bust not playing for the Rockies, but he got even better. He's been an MVP caliber player. If the Yankees do not re-sign him over $25 million, when's the last time the Yankees gave up one of their best players because of money? In my lifetime, I'm 24 years old. Not once that I can remember. Now, if you're a Yankees fan, help me out. I cannot remember a single instance in which the Yankees were denied because of money. I remember I walked into a 7-Eleven when they had newspapers in the stores. I don't remember exactly what year, but they signed AJ Burnett, they signed CeCe Sabathia. I'm not sure if Mark Teixeira was the same year, but they pretty much bought themselves a World Series, and that's the MO of the Yankees, is spend money, because the Yankees fans, they go to baseball games, they spend money on merchandise, hot dogs, beers. They are some of the most ravaged and passionate fans in all of sports. So of course they're gonna have a ton of money to spend, but this is a little bit different because 2020 and the global pandemic, it's really put a dent in the finances of every single club in Major League Baseball. So if DJ walks, I'm not sure where he could go. Now, speaking of star players that I don't know where they could go, considering JT Realmuto was just denied the New York Mets, they signed James McCann, so of course he is not going to be a member of the Mets. Where is he going to go? Do the Phillies have enough money? They just said that they don't. So what's the market for JT? It's like it just evaporated into nothing. The Mets are gone. The Phillies say they can't afford him. Where does JT Realmuto go? And the same question for DJ if the Yankees can't afford him. I don't know any other team that necessarily needs a second baseman or a catcher to be a championship caliber team and one that can afford them. Like, obviously the Indians, they need an offensive catcher because Roberto Perez is not good, but they can't afford Realmuto. They need a second baseman because Cesar Hernandez might not re-sign. What is happening? So over the course of the last week, the free agency market for both Realmuto and DJ LeMahieu got a little bit murky and blurry. We don't know exactly what is going to happen, so if you have any predictions, let me know in the comment section down below. Now I want to end today's video with something that really, I want to give a round of applause to the NFL because they are doing marketing right. They will be broadcasting a Packers game on Nickelodeon as well as Fox. So they will simulcast, meaning that the kids will get a stream with added graphics and everything on their own channel for Nickelodeon, while at the same time it will be aired the normal way on Fox or CBS or whatever channel it's going to be on, so the adults can watch that. I can't think of a more perfect way to get kids and children or the younger audience to be interested in your game than putting it on Nickelodeon with some cool graphics. It just shows that MLB, they need a younger corporate structure, and if they want to hire me, I will go. I will have a 12-hour meeting with Robert Manfred because I have some good ideas, and the NFL with this Nickelodeon announcement, absolute fat dub, the biggest W that I've seen in quite some time. And it's just, I mean, they've put their jerseys in Fortnite. They're having this. MLB is not really doing anything aside from a campaign of let the kids play, and then they air it for a week, and then it's over with. But that does it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe, and peace out.